Co-host.
Akib, you went to high school in Dallas.
Yeah, Talib
Still
permanent
live in
on the
Dallas,
show.
Big Dallas fan.
Him and Skip.
Is Jerry Jones the biggest reason the Cowboys haven't been back to the NFC Championship in 30 years? Is it Jerry Jones?
It's been 30 years.
They haven't even been back to the NFC Championship in 30
Nah,
years.
I don't think it's Jerry.
Really?
I don't think it's Jerry.
Wow.
I don't think.
Is Jerry Jones the reason the Cowboys haven't been back to the NFC Championship game in 30 years? He the one hiring the coaches, you know what I mean?
Jerry is the issue here. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Jerry's job is to put a good coach on the team, get a good staff together, and get good players for that coach, right?
But you were just saying this year, he gave him a tank coach for the year.
Yeah, I mean, he still put a good product out there. He give him a little tank coach. It's going to look solid. But I think, like I said, after I said that, next year, the Cowboys going to be a fucking wrecking ball. That's what I think.
Yep.
Really?
So I feel like Jerry's job is to give you good coaches, give you good players. All he do is draft all pros. All he do is draft pro bowlers. You know what I'm saying? They've been to the playoffs, what? 2021, 2022, 2023 playoff teams. 16 playoff team, 14 playoff team, 09, 07, 06, 03. Even 03 they had Quincy Carter playoff team.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he getting you to the show. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
The team is good enough.
Real quick, 13 playoffs in 29 years. Does that work?
I mean,
13 and 29?
They to the show. He putting together good teams to get you to the show. Now, we just talking about him getting to the NFC chip.
That's right.
Out of them 13 times, they should have been to the chip a few times. It's not on Jerry if they didn't get to the chip. It's on the QBs. The quarterbacks is nutting up in big games. Dak, that's my dog. He nutting up in big games. Romo dropping field goal. That's nutting up in big games.
Yeah, drop the snap.
I mean, dropping the snaps on the
extra point.
for the extra point.
Yeah.
That's nutting up in big games. So I feel like Jerry's job, get good coaches, get a good staff, get a good team, put a good product out there. If he want to be on the sideline, it's his shit. He paid for it. He can be on the sideline.
I think you like, we put a magnifying glass on it. You know, on a bigger scale, I think Jerry does have some blame. On a smaller scale, when we go to game time situations, that come down to coaching. Coaching and players, obviously, but I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I can't speak to what happens every year in the playoffs. But, you know, typically it's one or two. It's coaching or players, you know. But he's hiring the coaches. So that's on a bigger scale. But again, you know, in that game, in these specific situations, that's what it come down to on a smaller scale.
But yet he paid Dak the highest paid QB in the league. He made that decision.
Yeah, he did. I feel like Dak going to be straight. I feel like they're going to get Schottenheimer out of there, right? They're going to get one of these coaches.
You're already firing Schottenheimer.
He's supposed to go 7-0.
Shotty a bridge guy,
go
man.
7-0.
Shotty just a bridge guy. I gave him an opportunity because of his dad. You know how that shit go. He's a bridge guy. He's going to get somebody under this Shanahan, McVay tree, who everybody's running that offense right now. All the good teams is fucking winning, running Sean McVay and Shanahan's offense. He's going to get one of those guys that's going to make Dak have a Matthew Stafford kind of story, right? He's going to have a better OC. He's going to see the game a little bit different. They're going to get some great vets with that $42 million. He's going to have a hell of a draft. He's going to draft an impact player with that all them draft picks he got. And I think the Cowboys going to be a fucking wrecking ball next year. But, you know, I don't think it's Jerry's fault. Back to the question, Jerry don't play no games. He just put the product out there. I think the product has been good enough to win games.
Yeah,
Why do I feel like I know where you're going?
I watched the history. I'm going to say he is the reason, but not for decision. His decision making is what's wrong with him is no different what's wrong with Cowboy fans, right? It's loyalty. His biggest problem, his biggest downfall is he's too loyal. It's disguised as delusion. It's just a nice way to say, but he's so loyal to things he needs to let go of because he likes it, right? And the business of it doesn't kick in anymore like it did before, right? So I'm looking at, you know, first mistake, firing Jimmy Johnson. but I would have fired Jimmy Johnson if I was him too.
And he won a chip after he fired him.
And because there wouldn't be no Jimmy Johnson if Jerry knew his real intentions at the beginning.
That is true.
If Jerry knew this is a one-sided friendship, there wouldn't be no Jimmy Johnson. We wouldn't be talking about that in the first place. So I can't discredit him for that, right? Because if I find out I'm loyal to you and you trying to sneak behind my back, I would have fired your ass too. And that's the problem with Jerry, that when he doesn't receive the same kind of love that you're giving to him, it's fuck everything.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of it, and that's the way he goes. His second mistake is loyalty too. He was so loyal to Tony Romo and Jason that had a strong hold on a team that in 2017, when you had a chance that you liked Patrick Mahomes, you could have drafted down. I mean, you could have traded down to get him, what you wanted to do. That Tony Romo, that smile was like.
Yeah, that's true.
And you picked the nigga named Taco, right? I'm just saying, you know.
See, that's a gamble though. You know, it's like if you got a good quarterback, you don't need to draft another quarterback. What the Chiefs did when drafting Mahomes, what the Falcons did with drafting Michael Penix, I think is a reach, but it's an understandable reach. But not everybody has to do that. You know, like that's not necessary to do. If your quarterback is still performing good, you don't have to go and get another quarterback just because he's a great talent. You know.
And then I'm just saying, right? Because instead of saying,
you can go and address another need. That's not a bad move.
This guy is really good. I need to let go and bring him in and then build around him. You decided to go with your feelings. 2018. Same feelings when Lamar Jackson was on the board, right? So there was chances where Jerry could have just said, you know what? Let me just think about winning championships. But he suffers from the same thing Cowboys suffer from, is I'm in love with this shit. I'm in love with, you're my guy, and I'm gonna just die with this. And he wants to win. He wants to win those trophies, but I think he wants to win it with the people he actually like. And that was the thing with Jimmy. Mm-hmm. I don't want to win the third one with you. Fuck off. I want to win it with somebody else. And that becomes the thing, the ego in his pride.
But he won it with somebody else.
Yes, and I want to win it with someone else. And that becomes the thing because he was already off this guy. So it just seems like, you know, his loyalty overshadows decision making.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm going to go opposite of that, and I'll get my 2 cents in real quick because I'm excited to hear Skip's take on this as a lifelong Cowboys fan. I agree with Akib. I don't think Jerry Jones is the main reason to blame for all of this over the last 30 years. I mean, it's not like he's putting out rosters that have regressed and have gotten worse and worse over the years. It's not Jerry Jones's fault that they've been to the playoff 13 times, and during those 13 times, they've had a one-and-done exit in 8 of those games. It's not Jerry Jones' fault, like you mentioned, that Tony Romo botched the hold in 2007 against Seattle. It's not Jerry Jones' fault that Des Bryant's touchdown catch got overturned, and when there was a drop in 2014. It was a catch, but that's not his fault. That team was there, and that's unfortunate. It's not his fault that Dak Prescott slid against San Francisco with 9 seconds to go instead of giving him his team a chance to win from the 25 and maybe pull off the upset or win that football game. It's not his fault that during out of those 13 games, they've been favored in 11 of them, and they have a losing record, Skip, during those 11 times. They're 5-6 as a favorite in the playoffs. So, again, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say on this. I don't think it's Jerry Jones' fault. He's made some questionable decisions, like Gil has said, and maybe his pride has gotten in the way. But overall, you cannot blame him solely as the purpose or the main reason that the Cowboys haven't got back to the Super Bowl.
I can't tell you how much I disagree with all y'all. I know Jerry really well. For the 3 books I wrote in the 90s, I don't know, I spent hundreds of hours with and around him. And I like the hell out of him because you can't help, if you're around him, you can't help liking him because his heart's good, it's just in the wrong place. Mm-hmm. And his ego is massive and completely out of control, as you can see in the current Netflix documentary. Jerry has done a decent job of putting a marketable product out on the field, because over the last 30 years, their record is 251 and 217 in the regular season is pretty good. It's 11th in the league. So you say, well, we can work with that because that's sort of playoff caliber. And to whoever made the point, you made the point, Will McClay is really good at what he does as their scouting director, and he's been with this franchise for 24 years, and they have routinely drafted, not well, but really well.
Excellent.
Yeah, and from 2010 to 2020, they had the second most Pro Bowlers drafted to the Chiefs. So you got to say, Jerry should take some credit for that. The problem is, over the last 30 years, they've played 18 playoff games in 30 years. They're 5-13 in those 18 games. That is the worst winning percentage in the NFL over the last 30 years in the postseason. 5-13, winning percentage the worst in the National Football League, and it's Jerry's ultimate fault. The buck stops on that desk and only on that desk, because he is the owner and the operator of my Dallas Cowboys.
You know, the fact that he has had the same scout for 24 years, again, is like on a larger scale. It puts some blame on you, because you know how to find somebody who knows. You have capability to find somebody who knows how to find talent and is a good scout. But finding a long-term head coach seems to be an issue. A good long-term head coach, a good long-term, I know OCs, DCs, they leave, they come and go. But at least the head coach, you want some consistency there, Who's the longest head coach they had? What, Jason Garrett? Is that the longest one? At least that's what it feels like. But
Cowboys. I am stuck with Jerry as the general manager of my Cowboys, while Howie Roseman, who didn't even play high school football, is the best general manager in football of the Philadelphia Eagles. And he just keeps running rings, as in Super Bowl rings, around Jerry Jones. Draft after draft, free agency period after free agency period. The reason I picked the Eagles last year was Howie went out and won free agency. He just mopped it up, and then he won the draft and got 2 rookie corners who both were incredibly significant in what they ultimately did at the end of the year, because both of them played big-time football all the way up to the Super Bowl. My point with Jerry Jones is he gets so close to the players that it turns into the Cowboy Country Club. And you mentioned Romo, all of them. I can go way back with Jerry. He treats them like, he's now 82, but for a while they were like sons, then they were like grandsons, and now they're like great-grandsons, all the players. He loves Micah Parsons to death, to a fault. He treated him like his great-grandson, and only in the end, when Micah just pissed him off and finally alienated him, did he finally say, you know what? They're all telling me he can't stop the run. I gotta cut bait here, man. I gotta cut the tie. I gotta cut the bond. I'm gonna ship his ass to Green Bay, because it's time for that to happen. That was, I told you guys on Tuesday, that was the smartest, boldest.
I wonder why he didn't send him to an AFC team. Why another team in the NFC? Like, I'm pretty sure there had to be somebody in the AFC that was 16 teams. Somebody was offering more.
Ballsiest move Jerry Jones has made in 30 years to me. And
I agree with that.
The coaches, see Brian Schottenheimer, he just keeps on hiring puppet coaches, because he knows they'll listen to whatever Jerry wants to do, whatever game plan tweak he wants to make on Friday. They do it because they just feel blessed to be able to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because it's America's team. It still is. I don't care what you say. Like 6 of the 10 most watched games in history are all Cowboy games, because watch what happens tonight. Just watch. It'll be some record rating tonight, because you either love him or you hate him. And he's a great marketer, and he puts out always an incredibly controversial and debatable product, but it's a country club in the locker room, because the stars know they can circumvent the head coach and go to granddaddy. That they know they can go to Jerry's office and say, man, you got to throw me a few more balls, Jerry. Come on, man. And Jerry is coddling. He's spoiling. He's doing, and the culture it's decayed because it's like the ultimate, like you know football. You've been championship football. You
Yes,
can't
sir.
have a country club. You got to.
And like, I want to disagree with the coddling statement, but the fact that that clip came out of him telling Micah after they lost a playoff game that wasn't on you. Nobody is perfect, so you can't tell nobody that. You know what I mean? Like, I can see if it's like a receiver, but a DN, unless every run that came your way you got to stuff, unless every pass play you got to pressure, at least a pressure, you know, then there was some room to improve. But a receiver is like, if we're not throwing you the ball, just like how Julio in that Super Bowl, Julio Jones, if they're not throwing you the ball, you can't do nothing. You could have beat your guy. You could be the better guy. If they're not targeting you, then you can't really do nothing. But I don't know. It's a little wild.
Fear. The reason Jimmy was great. The one thing Jimmy did great was he established the scariest force field I've ever seen in any locker room I've ever been in. I've been in a bunch of them in a lot of NBA locker rooms. They were scared to death that Jimmy might fire their ass the next day because the first year they broke through in the Super Bowl, the final regular season game, a little kid named Kervin Richards, the backup tailback from Pitt, he fumbled in the fourth quarter of a game that they were rolling over Mike Ditka's Bears, and Jimmy cuts him the day after the final regular season game going into the playoffs. Emmett had no backup going into the playoffs. Well, that's Jimmy's way of saying, any of you screw up like that, your ass is out of here. Well, there's no fear factor in the Cowboy locker room until now. They need external motivation. That they need the world to say, you ain't shit without Micah Parsons. That's what's happening right now. There's external motivation because they're not going to get it from Jerry. They're really not going to get it from Brian Schottenheimer because the locker room knows Schotty is just Jerry's puppet, right? So
Bridge
that's
guy.
what's that?
The bridge guy.
Yeah, okay, well, he's a bridge guy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's no good. You wouldn't respect that.
Definitely would.
And if you were 5 minutes late to that meeting, you're like, Jerry's got my back,
Right.
because Jerry would have loved you. He would have.
It's the
He would have.
So you think Jerry should take a step back, be an owner, and hire a general manager?
But it's not,
It would never
I've been saying that for 30 years.
he's
but
not doing that.
Yeah, he's not doing it.
He's having too much fun. And at
They don't
the
have a
end of the
GM?
doc, episode 8, Jerry says, I need the pain.
He liked the pain.
He likes the pain.
He liked
I
it.
like the pain.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
All right, well, I do.
He can handle it. Man, if I've been a part of both. I've been a part of a building that was scared to death of Bill.
Yeah.
If you fuck up, you know what's gonna happen.
Okay.
And I've been a part of Kubiak building where he was a damn dad to all of us. He was cool as shit.
And
He
you
was the
won.
players coach.
You
And we
won
won
it
the
all.
fucking Super Bowl
Okay,
with
you
cool.
did.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, and by the way,
however he treat the building, go ahead, Skip.
yeah, Jerry tried one time a non-puppet. He tried Bill Parcells.
Right.
Great coach. But right away, he just emasculated Bill Parcells publicly because he went and got Terrell Owens, and Parcells hated him. And Parcells wouldn't even speak Terrell Owens' name in press conferences. He called him the player.
What the heck?
And Terrell rebelled against Bill, and then Jerry rebelled against Parcells. He turned Parcells into a puppet.
But
It's
they
not
balled
gonna
with
work.
T.O. though, right?
Huh?
They Cowboys
That's kind of immature for a head coach, in my opinion, to not even refer to a player on your team by their name.
was pretty nice with T.O.
Until they got to Eli in the first home playoff game.
But like you saying, they got him to the show. That was
Okay.
bring Parcells in, bring T.O. in, whoop, I get us to the tournament.
Yeah.
That's Jerry's job right there.
That was actually
From
Wade
then on,
Phillips.
Parcells got to swallow his fucking pride.
He did,
T.O.
but
got to
he's
swallow
not-
his fucking pride.
Okay, but-
and y'all got to find a way to win, bro.
But
It's not
Parcells
on Jerry.
won't. He's
But
not
I'm
gonna-
saying, well, that's not on Jerry.
Yeah.
It was a mastermind, brilliant idea, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Let's get Parcells. He cold as fuck on being the leader. Let's bring in T.O. He a big personality. He gonna dog the league. Let's put them together. They'll swallow their pride. We to the tournament. That's his job. Get us to the tournament, bro. Let me put out a tournament team, and we got to find a way to win. So from everything you said, Skip, I still don't see how it's Jerry's fault. Like, from everything you said, I still didn't hear one thing that said, okay, well, Jerry lost that playoff game. He ain't fucking lose no playoff game.
Okay, but there's no culture. It's the Jerry
It is
culture.
a culture. It's a y'all my grandsons. I fuck with all y'all. That's the culture of the building. That's a solid culture. I won a Super Bowl in that culture.
All right.
I won a Super Bowl in that exact same culture. So there's nothing wrong with that culture if you ask
Yeah,
me.
but the thing is, the only difference there, the head coach was that versus the owner, you know, and that's a different dynamic. Very, very different dynamic.
Well, I just feel stuck with the owner and stuck with the quarterback that the owner has twice made the highest paid player in football.
Yes, the chat doesn't like Jerry Jones. 76% are saying that it's Jerry Jones' fault. Let's talk the quarterback.
That guy.
Obviously,
Yep.
a huge issue. You were in the same draft class as
I don't think
Dak
it's black and
Prescott,
white.
Okay, he's won 2.
I definitely
playoff
think it's a
games,
gray
and he's
area
won
there.
Only 2.